Okay, welcome back to the Okay Not Okay podcast. I am Dr. O'Kay, and we are back to talk about the wins and winning percentages of all of the leaders in WWE on TV in 2024. Now, last week we counted up all the suspensions, termination, and fines and define them. So this week we will continue that with a slightly different direction there and see who is actually winning matches in 2024. Well, last week we also talked about adding mid-card titles for the women last week, and I think we determined that it would be pretty difficult. So let's keep up with that to show just how few people are getting wins on WWE TV. So we will do both the men and the women, but let's start with the women to keep that going. So let's start it off with the number of opportunities. So far through this week's Monday Night Raw, there have been 30 Monday nights, so 30 Monday Night Raws, and 8 premium live events. So if you wrestled on every single one of those, you would have 38 potential opportunities. And we will assume that no one got to go over to the other brand at any point. We know the draft changed things around a little bit, and we know that the women's tag team champions also can go back and forth. But for our purposes, we'll just say that 38 potential matches, 1 per night, would be the absolute max. But that's not really anything close to what we're going to have to worry about tonight, but just a number to keep in mind. So first, we will talk about the Raw women and how many singles wins they have this year so far. So a singles win can be a one-on-one match, it can be a triple threat, fatal four-way, or it could be any crazy match like the Money in the Bank ladder match, the Elimination Chamber match, or of course the big one, the Royal Rumble match. So let's also note before we get started that if you have more than 2 people in a match, it's going to be pretty hard to win and your odds of winning drop drastically. So if it's a triple threat match, you've got a 1 in 3 chance or just 33.3%. And that drops all the way down to about 3% when you go to a 1 in 30 Royal Rumble. So obviously it is pretty hard to win a match like that. So nonetheless, let's get going here. Here are our leaders so far on Raw. In 5th place with 3 wins, Rhea Ripley. Wow, that is a surprising one. She has no matches since winning at WrestleMania since Liv injured her right after that. So we'll see if she can start climbing back up the rankings, and I bet she will once she steps into the ring beginning at SummerSlam. Then we have a tie for 3rd place with 5. Liv Morgan and Lyra Valkyria. Now also funny there, both of them had late starts to the year. In fact, Lyra was in NXT, so none of those wins counted until she joined the main roster. And Liv, of course, was injured, and she came back at the Royal Rumble. And in 1st place, we have another tie with 6. So the 2 women that have the most wins on the Monday Night Raw roster only have 6 total wins. The first of which, Becky Lynch. We have not seen her since she lost back-to-back matches against Liv Morgan. So pretty amazing that she remains in 1st place. And the other person tied with her is Io Sky. She surprisingly also has not done much wrestling of late either, but she's at least gotten back to winning when she does find her way into a one-on-one match after losing the title to Bayley at WrestleMania. So as far as winning percentage, we did that separately. We wanted to see who has the best win-to-loss record for their matches. Now we made a minimum of 5 total singles matches. Again, those could be one-on-one or multi-person matches. And even though we took out any draws or no contest as part of the calculation for winning percentage, we would say that those would count to get to 5 total matches, but that didn't come into play for any person in the women's side for Raw or SmackDown. So not really a factor, but we did consider it. So in 5th place, Amazingly, the 5th best winning percentage of any woman on Raw is Zoe Stark at 22.22%, which is a 2-7 record. Let that sink in for a while. 2-7, 22%. Not very good, but that is somehow the 5th best person on Raw. Okay, let's move on. In 4th is Liv Morgan, who was Miss Second Place all the way up until she finally beat Becky to win the championship. But maybe she'll be in 2nd place in Dom's heart as well going forward. We'll just have to wait and see. But nonetheless, she's at 45.45% at 5-6 so far on Raw. 3rd place, Becky Lynch, yet again, she's at exactly 50% at 6-6. Lyra Valkyria in 2nd place at 5-4 for 55.56%. And in 1st place, Io Sky, 66.67% at a very impressive 6-3. So not much more we can say about that. We expect those folks at the top, Io and Lyra, to keep racking up the wins, but will they get a shot at the title anytime soon, especially now that we may see Liv and Rhea going at it for the foreseeable future, I would say. Okay, well, let's move on to the Raw Women's Tag Team wins. So again, this is just any win in any tag team match. It can be a traditional tag, 2-on-2. It could be a 3-on-3, 6-person tag. It could be anything else that has 3 teams of 2 or 3 teams of 3. Anything like that. It could be any iteration of a tag team match. So in this case, tied for 5th place with 3 is Carter and Chance. They actually held the women's tag team championships at one point earlier this year, but not so much lately, but still good enough to be tied for 5th. Now in 4th place, we will have Asuka with 6. She would probably have more if she didn't get injured and has been out for the last several months. But in 3rd is her Kabuki Warrior partner, Kairi Sane, who has 7. She picked up a tag win with Damage Control without Asuka in it, but they've not seen much success since Asuka has been gone. Then in a tie for 1st place, we seem to talk about them every single week, it is Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. They have an impressive 9 tag team victories. They haven't gotten over the hump to win the Women's Tag Team Championships, but it looks like they've got their eyes on it yet again after speaking to Fire and Dawn during Raw this week. So for Raw Women Tag Team winning percentage, well, we again left it at 5 matches minimum to rank here. So in 5th place at 33.33%, we had Dakota Kai at 2-4, and that's not that impressive considering the other 2 members of the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi Sane at 58.33%, and Asuka at 66.67% are your 4th place and 3rd place wrestlers. Then, of course, your tie for 1st, Zoe and Shayna at 69.23% at 9-4. But we'll note here that your current women's tag team champions, the Unholy Union of Fire and Dawn, do not even qualify. They've only had 4 televised matches so far in 2024. So they need more time to even get another match so that they can qualify. Maybe they can get on the SummerSlam card somehow and face off against Zoe and Shayna and or Jade and Bianca, but that remains to be seen. So who knows? But they don't even qualify. Pretty amazing. Okay, let's switch over to the SmackDown women's side, and we will start with the singles wins. Now, SmackDown so far has had 1 less episode, so they're at 29 SmackDowns plus the 8 PLEs for 37 total possible matches. In 5th place, we have Naomi with 5 wins, which is also impressive since she was not here at the very beginning of the year, only debuting at the Royal Rumble. In 4th place, we have Bianca Belair with 6 wins, which is also pretty impressive considering she has spent much of the year with Jade Cargill and challenging for and winning the tag team matches. So pretty good to still have 6 wins at this point. In a tie for 2nd place with 7, we have Tiffany Stratton and your current WWE Women's Champion, Bayley. And in first place with 9, we have Nia Jax. So no surprise, Nia seems to get in the ring and just dominate whoever she sees. So it's no surprise she has the most matches, and we'll see if she can take down Bayley here at SummerSlam. Now for winning percentage for singles matches, in 5th place we have Naomi yet again at 41.67%. She is 5-7. In 4th place, we have Tiffany Stratton. She is at 7-6 for a 53.85 winning percentage. In 3rd, we have Bianca at 60% at 6-4. In 2nd place, dropping down 1 peg, is Nia Jax at 9-5 for a 64.29 winning percentage. And in 1st place is your champion, Bayley. She is at 87.5% with a 7-1 record. So for the tag team records, we have most wins. We have a 3-way tie for 5th with just 2 wins. Those are Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, and Naomi. Now, Naomi's not even on a tag team, but she's been involved in a couple of tag team matches, so she snuck her way in here even though she would not be eligible when we get to our last section. In a tie for 3rd place, we have Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae with 4, and way out ahead in 1st place with 8, no surprise, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. So when we go to a winning percentage, pretty much the same deal. Naomi just out of the list, but in 5th place, tied for 5th, it's Piper and Chelsea, 33.33%, 2-4. Tied for 3rd, it's Indy and Candice, 36.36%, 4-7. And tied for 1st, Jade and Bianca, 88.89%, 8-1. Now that really goes to show that we pretty much only have 3 actual tag teams on SmackDown. So it's hard for anyone to even make this list. So pretty much if you are a tag team, you are on the list on the SmackDown side. It's pretty similar on the Raw side, but that really is it. Those are your 3 teams on SmackDown. And on the men's side, let's go to where there are a bunch of more opportunities than there are for the women. So for the Raw men, total wins so far, in 4th place, we have a 2-way tie with Gunther and Braun Breaker with 8. Then in 2nd place, we have another tie with Drew McIntyre and main event Jey Uso. And then in 1st place, your Intercontinental Champion is at number 1. He's got 12 total victories. But will he be able to hold on to that Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam against Braun Breaker? We will just have to wait and see, but he's done a good job of getting the win so far this year. Now, when we go to winning percentage, Sami Zayn just missed the top 5. So in a tie for 4th, we have Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso at 64.71%, which is 11-6. Now notice this percentage is way higher than what we saw with Zoe Stark on the women's side. What a difference. Okay, well, beyond that, at number 3, we have surprisingly Ludwig Kaiser at 75%. Now, this is where our caveat comes into play. He is 3-1-1. Yes, he had 1 no contest, but he had 5 total matches, so he just made our qualification. But even though he only had 4 decisions, we left him in right here. So good for Kaiser, he just barely made it, which knocked Sami Zayn out of the top 5. Then in 2nd place, we have your current champion, Damian Priest. He is at 77.78%, which is 7-2. Very impressive, but he is running up against the man who is at number 1 at 80%. 8-2, it is Gunther. And of course, we know one of those 2 losses was in the Royal Rumble, so he's only lost 1 one-on-one match, so it's going to be very difficult for him to retain that title. But let's go over to the tag teams on Raw. We have a 4-way tie for 2nd place with New Catch Republic's Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and the Awesome Truth with R-Truth, and The Miz, and all 4 of them have 8 total wins. Unfortunately, we're not going to see New Catch Republic anytime soon with Tyler Bate being out with an injury. But hopefully, let's get the Awesome Truth right back on and see if they can regain those tag team championships. But in first place is your tag team champion, Finn Balor, with 9. He's had 2 tours of duty, first with Damian Priest and now with JD McDonough. But McDonough is nowhere to be found here. His winning percentage or total wins does not equal up to the others at the top of the list. But right now, he's got the gold, so it's hard to argue with that, but Finn Balor is number 1 by himself. Then, when we go to winning percentage, we will again have our disabled New Catch Republic at 61.54%. They are 8-5 overall. In 4th place, Finn Balor drops a lot from 1st to 4th. He is at 64.29% with a still impressive 9-5 record, but again, he holds the gold, so I'm sure he's not too worried about it right now. And in 2nd place, it is the Awesome Truth. They are 8-4, so 66.67%. Really impressive. Let's see them return here very soon and get those titles back. But in 1st place, he is your current World Heavyweight Champion, but he's also your former Tag Team Champion. He is Damian Priest at 75%, a 6-2 record in tag team. So he's at pretty much the top of the list for both winning percentage in singles at 2nd place and in tag at 1st place. Really impressive. He can do it all right now, but we'll see if he can do that one more time at SummerSlam. All right, let's go over to SmackDown. First, singles wins. In 5th place with just 5 wins. Big drop off. I guess that's the difference when you have 3 hours versus 2 hours on the men's side. It is Santos Escobar, again with 5 wins. In 4th place, we have Andrade with 6 wins. Then in 3rd place, it's Randy Orton with 7 wins. Then in 2nd place, LA Knight checks in with 8 wins. And in 1st, it is your undisputed WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, with 10. No surprise there out of Rhodes. He just doesn't seem to lose matches, but are things starting to get too much for him, and will he bow to the bloodline at SummerSlam? We talked about that earlier this week, so check in on that one if you missed it. Okay, so let's go over to singles winning percentage for SmackDown. We have a tie for 5th place between Logan Paul and Santos Escobar at 50%. Paul is at 3-3 and Escobar is at 5-5. So we'll see if Logan can hold on to that US Championship at SummerSlam, while Escobar has a chance to jump over that against Paul's opponent this week on SmackDown. Speaking of that opponent, it is LA Knight. He is in 4th place at 57.14%. He is 8-6 in 2024. So in 3rd place, it is the Viper Randy Orton, 58.33%. He is 7-5. Now, he's been a very impressive 7-1 in one-on-one matches, but he is not getting the job done in these multi-person singles matches at 0-4. So he needs to figure out a way to start winning those matches, and then he can really shoot up the charts. In 2nd place, Andrade. Same thing. We say all he does is win, and he is undefeated in one-on-one, but he's 0-2 in multi-person singles matches, making his record 6-2 for 75%. And in 1st place, of course, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, 90.91%. He is 10-1 in all singles matches so far this year. Very impressive. So, and then on the tag side, we have a 4-way tie for 5th place with A-Town Down Unders, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and Legado del Fantasmas, Angel and Berto. All 4 of them have 4 wins apiece. In a tie for 3rd place, we have the Street Profits. Both Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford have 6 wins. And in a tie for 1st place are your current WWE Tag Team Champions Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa with 7 tag wins apiece. When we switch it over to tag team winning percentage, again a minimum of 5 matches, we surprisingly have Kevin Owens sneaking in here with a 50% winning percentage at 3-3, which is pretty amazing considering he has not been tied to a tag team since he was traded from Raw to SmackDown during the middle of 2023 when he was tag partners with his best friend Sami Zayn. So pretty amazing that he's got 6 matches under his belt so far in 2024. And then you come to think of it, his 2 big PLE matches, he's lost to the Bloodline 2 times. But no Bloodline members even qualify for this list as none of them have more than 4 matches. So for now, KO, he's been pretty good when he doesn't face the Bloodline, so he'll make it here at 5th. So in a tie for 3rd place, your current champions, Gargano and Ciampa, they've got a 53.85% winning percentage, which is just over 500 at 7 and 6. And in a tie for 1st place, it is the Street Profits, 60% winning percentage. Obviously not an overwhelming leader there. They are 6-4 overall. So maybe they can get a chance here at Gargano and Ciampa here soon. Strangely, they are not very good at traditional tag matches at just 2-4, but they thrive in the multi-team tag team matches. They are 4-0 in multi-person tag matches, which again, those can be 3-on-3 tags, they can be 3 teams of 2 apiece, or any iteration thereof. So when they have multiple parts flying all around, they seem to be pretty good at it. So that shot them all the way up to 60% in 1st place. So there is our 2nd breakdown of our wins both in singles and in tag matches, as it's good to check in from time to time, as championships are the most important thing, but of course winning matches are the 2nd most important thing. So we want to see who deserves to keep getting more chances and who is taking advantage of them by winning. So with that, I am Dr. O'Kay, and this has been the OK Not OK podcast.